Last time, we talked about a CEO who vanished with billions in Bitcoin, leaving a trail of digital dust and broken promises. But today's story, it's even stranger, a plot twist so audacious it sounds like it's straight out of a Hollywood thriller. Because this time, the CEO didn't just disappear, he died. Or at least, that's what everyone was told. He called himself the Crypto King. He was young, charismatic, and had a smile that could sell ice in a blizzard. His promise was simple. He would demystify the complex world of cryptocurrency, making it safe, easy, and profitable for everyone. From your grandma to your tech-savvy nephew. His exchange, let's call it Cointopia, exploded in popularity. Investors, captivated by his vision and soaring projections, adored him. Customers, seeing their small investments grow, practically worshipped him. And the media. They couldn't get enough of his rags to riches story, painting him as the modern-day Midas of the digital age. He was the face of a new financial frontier. But behind the shimmering crown and the perfectly tailored suits, deep, dark cracks were already forming in his kingdom's foundation. The public image was flawless, but the reality was a ticking time bomb. While the Crypto King was busy doing primetime interviews, posing with gleaming sports cars, and giving keynote speeches about the future of finance, Cointopia was quietly falling apart from the inside. It was a classic case of style over substance. Customer funds, which were supposed to be held in ultra-secure segregated accounts, were instead being used in risky, speculative ventures. The company's internal controls were practically non-existent. It was less of a financial institution and more of a chaotic startup run on vibes and blind trust. And the most glaring issue, the company was losing money at an astonishing rate, burning through cash faster than it could pretend to make it. But instead of pausing, addressing the glaring problems, and building a sustainable business, the Crypto King did what he did best. He doubled down on the hype, cranking up the marketing machine to attract even more new customers, and their fresh capital essentially using new money to patch the holes left by the old. Then, one Tuesday morning, the internet went into a frenzy. The announcement dropped like a bombshell. Out of nowhere, the Crypto King had died. The official story was that he had passed away unexpectedly from a sudden illness while traveling abroad on a charitable mission. The company released a short, somber statement expressing their profound grief. The media, without much digging, repeated the tragic news. The narrative was set, and customers. They panicked. A wave of fear swept through the community because there was one critical, terrifying detail that everyone knew. The only person with the private keys. The only one who could access the exchange's vast cold storage wallets holding billions in customer assets was him. The king was dead, and he had seemingly taken the keys to the kingdom with him to the grave. But here's where the story takes a turn from tragedy to mystery. The details started to feel off. A few investigative journalists and some very clever online sleuths started pulling at the threads, and the whole story began to unravel. First, there was no official death certificate from the country where he had supposedly died, no hospital records, no coroner's report. Second, the location of his death was kept deliberately vague. When pressed for details, the company simply begged for privacy during this difficult time. There was no independent confirmation from any verifiable source. It was just the company's word. The funeral was a closed casket affair, attended by only a handful of close associates. Meanwhile, something very strange was happening on the blockchain. Millions of dollars in crypto from wallets that were supposedly inaccessible were quietly being moved around. It was like a ghost was trading from beyond the grave. Investigators started to connect the dots and ask the question that was on everyone's mind: was the crypto king really dead? Or had he just pulled off the most elaborate exit scam in history? Think about it. You have a failing company on the verge of collapse. You have billions in customer funds that are unaccounted for. And you have a founder who conveniently dies in a foreign country known for its lax documentation and corrupt officials. The timing wasn't just suspicious, it was practically a confession written in invisible ink. The theory quickly gained traction. He had faked his own death, grabbed the cash, and was now living a life of luxury on a private island somewhere, leaving thousands of investors with nothing but a tragic, unbelievable story. So, what's the lesson we can take away from this wild tale of deception? First, and most importantly, never trust a company where one single person holds all the keys to the castle. Centralization is a massive red flag in a world that's supposed to be about decentralization. Power and access should be distributed. Second, never trust a business that relies more on hype and celebrity endorsements than on transparent third-party audits. A healthy company is proud to show its books. A company that hides them is hiding something else. And finally, never trust a CEO who acts more like a rock star than a responsible fiduciary. In the world of finance, transparency and accountability beat charisma and a fancy watch every single time. Always look for the proof, not just the promise. And if you think this story of a faked death and a grand escape was wild, wait until you hear how an entire crypto empire worth hundreds of billions collapsed overnight due to corporate greed and a secret backdoor. That's coming up in episode 3. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.